Hey y'all, and welcome to PolitiBrawl. My name is Brian, and Greg Stubbe puts an absolute masterclass on what actually happens with firearms and proving once and for all that the Democrats don't know squat about the Second Amendment.
Yield to a member on the Democratic side that served in a combat area designated zone and deployment of our country. Anybody in the Democratic side?
Mr. Stubbe, what's the purpose of the question? My father. No, let me finish. Let me finish.
Because I'm going to make a point, and you're taking my time. So I will yield to any member who
because
deployed.
I'm offended at your suggestion that somehow, if we've not served in a combat zone, that we don't care about protecting the lives of our constituents.
Has nothing to do about how you
to me.
And for our family members who have lost blood, they should be respected.
Reclaiming my time. So, Mr. Chairman, I'd like 40 seconds.
I've seen my constituents die in battle.
It's Mr. Stubbe's time. Gentleman is recognized.
And I will ask for 40 additional seconds that I was taken. Okay, so I served in Operation Iraqi Freedom. I served in the Army, and there's a lot of talk in Washington about weapons of war. And my purpose of yielding to one of my colleagues who may have served was to ask them a specific question of what type of firearm were you issued when you were deployed? And the answer to that question is a true what would be defined as a weapon actually used in war, has a selector switch on it for fully automatic, 3-round burst, and semi-automatic. So when I deployed in 2006 in Operation Iraqi Freedom, we were issued M4s in the United States Army. Those M4s had a selector switch on them. Those selector switch allow you to have fully automatic, 3-round burst, or semi-automatic. Those firearms are not allowed for purchase in the United States today.
All right, let's recap very briefly before Stubbe makes his absolutely perfect point. The Democrats got really angry when he asked the question, has anyone served in a combat zone? Because he's essentially asking Democrats for their credentials on the matter, which they have none.
So this cascading of weapons of war, what I was issued, and again, I would ask any person that served in a deployed environment, you are issued weapons that allow for fully automatic and 3-round burst. That is not available for purchase in the United States, and that is not what the Democrats are attempting to ban today because that's already banned. What we're talking about is a semi-automatic rifle that only is used in a semi-automatic form. So behind me is a typical AR platform weapon, and you can't see it because it's on this side, not the other side, that has a selector switch on it. That selector switch is only for fire or not fire, safe or not safe, and that is for a semi-matic operation of the weapon, which means every time I depress the trigger, a round comes out of the firearm. All right, next slide, and just move it over. This is the most popular handgun in the United States that was purchased is the Glock 19. It functions in exactly the same way as this rifle. It's a semi-automatic, just like that's a semi-automatic. The rifles not available for purchase don't have a selector switch for 3-round bursts or fully auto. This is a semi-automatic handgun. As quick as I depress the trigger of this Glock 19, a round comes out of the chamber. The functionality between that weapon and this weapon are exactly identical. There is no difference. So you're banning a class of weapons that you don't like the look of.
You know, I'm not an expert. I'm not an expert on weapons, but I do know that what Stubbe is saying is right. Because the way a round comes out of that chamber, the gas compression, I think, pulls back on a mechanism and allows the next round to come into the chamber and it's ready to fire. And so the idea of automatic versus semi-automatic in a rifle is almost exactly the same as it is in a pistol, and the Democrats don't know the difference.
Not because of functionality, not because of how fast a round comes out of the weapon, just because you don't like the way that they look, because they function exactly the same. Now move this one over one. So now this is a Glock 19. Glock 19 comes with a 15-round magazine, which under this bill is legal, although it's interesting that a couple weeks ago, you banned 10-round magazines, and then you changed it to a 15-round magazine. It's interesting to understand the thought process there, but that is for another time.
Hey, y'all. As we know, you don't put all your eggs into one basket, right? So that's why I'm partnering over with my friends at Colonial Metals Group, who will help diversify your portfolio. And what they'll do is they'll set up for you a self-directed IRA account. You'll have direct access to your assets. You'll be able to see what all's going on, and it doesn't matter what the stock market does or what often happens, what the government does. your assets will be protected. So let the team of experts over at Colonial Metals Group help secure your account and your family's future today. There's a link in the description below. Oh, and by the way, if you don't like that, there's a 1-800 number you can call. And most importantly, though, is the kicker. They'll throw in a safe and possibly up to $10,000 in US silver to help you get things started. Now, back to regularly scheduled programming. This is an absolutely brilliant piece. And you know what? Deep down, I think Democrats actually do understand this, that heavy gun regulation does not work the way it's intended. Because simply put, there are two kinds of gun owners. There are law-abiding gun owners who want to protect themselves or go out to hunt or, deal with the wild boars that are absolutely terrorizing our farms out in middle America. And then there's people who will use their weapons inappropriately. Criminals, gang members, psychopaths, people who obviously should not be allowed to have weapons. But guess who gets caught in the crossfire whenever you try to legislate harder and then round up the very people who are using it properly? The laws that Democrats continually push are not designed to help the police take down the criminals. They're an attempt to regulate people's abilities. And I think it's ironic because the left-wing part of their party thinks that they are really trying to help people, that they're giving people more freedoms and more abilities, and all they're doing is just taking it away. And Stubby is pointing this out right here because he's showing them line by line how these firearms actually work, how their legislation makes no sense, and these people don't really understand what's going on. Now, to wrap all this up, why do the Democrats keep doing this? They think they're helping people, but more importantly, and I keep on harping this on this channel, is that the ruling class, the dominant class of the left, and arguably of the entirety of America, are rich white liberals who live in their gated communities, who live on their little islands away from all the worst parts of the cities that they run, and they plug their fingers in their ears and scream into the void, ignoring the basic problems that Americans have. And they are just so force-fed media that trumps up every little detail, making mountains out of molehills. And they're whining about the wrong problems. And so when they see a rifle, they think a big, scary weapon, when in reality, it uses the exact same mechanisms as pistols. They don't understand it. They think they're helping people, and all they do is just make everything worse. That's just the reality of the situation. That's why Stubby had to go line by line and show them not only how they are wrong, but how a firearm actually works. I really hope a few of them listened, because bless their hearts, they need it. Folks, my name is Brian. Hope you enjoyed this segment here on PolitiBrawl. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Catch you on the next one, and until then, y'all have a good one.